Hey everybody, welcome to Live on Wednesdays. Today, let's ask this question. How many of you have experienced brain fog? That has got to be one of the most common questions I get asked. What can I do about brain fog? So today we're going to, if you're one who has experienced brain fog, please pay attention to what we're going to talk about today, okay? Because brain fog is one of the symptoms of leaky brain. But what is leaky brain? So before I do that, we have to back up a little bit and talk about the BBB, the triple B. And that is the blood-brain barrier. And the blood-brain barrier is a single layer lattice, kind of like a crossover lattice of cells that are joined together by really tight junctions like this. So think about a fabric that is made to be waterproof or water resistant. Those fibers are very, very tightly woven together. They have a certain something applied to them, like some kind of a process applied to them to help prevent moisture or water from getting through. It can't, but the joints are very, very tight. And so think about what would happen. So let me back up a little bit more. So that fabric then allows your body to still breathe. It lets out the air to still breathe, but it doesn't allow that water, that moisture to get in. Okay, so think about now what happens if that fabric gets a hole in it. It's now compromised. It can no longer serve the purpose for which it was developed. It will no longer keep that water or that moisture away from your skin. It is failing its function. Okay, it's now failing its function. So the BBB, or the blood-brain barrier, works in a similar fashion. It keeps out things you don't want to get into the brain area, like heavy metals, pesticides, PCBs, and other damaging proteins. But it still allows in the good things, the oxygen, the hormones, the nutrients. You want them to get through. So if it's compromised, it is just like that fabric with the hole in it. It can no longer do the job. So those tight junctions, that were in the fabric that now have a hole in them, or they become weakened somehow, are now like this in the blood-brain barrier. So you can see how things can now easily just pass back and forth, just like this. So when this happens, then it's more permeable. As I mentioned, things can now just pass back and forth. And things that you don't want in the brain, things that can be dangerous, things that can cause inflammation, which in turn then leads to leaky brain, which is basically an inflamed brain. Okay? So this is not unlike what I've talked about before with leaky gut. In fact, the lining of the stomach and the small intestine are very similar to the blood-brain barrier. Many of the things that cause leaky gut can cause leaky brain. What are these things? Poor gut health, an unhealthy diet, food intolerances, food sensitivities, toxins, infections. In fact, there was a Harvard study that has shown how a protein from wheat weakens those tight junctions in not only the gut, not only in the gut lining, but also in the blood-brain barrier, which then it contributes then to leaky gut and to leaky brain. So what are 5 causes of leaky brain? Gut infections, leaky gut, autoimmune diseases, mental health conditions, stress and vagus nerve dysfunction. And honestly, friends, most of these things are things that I address or discuss in my gut healing class. So if you haven't done so yet, check it out. But this today is just part 1 because leaky brain has so much involved in it. And this is just part 1, leaky brain part 1. I'll next address what are some of the other, besides brain fog, what are some of the other signs and symptoms of leaky brain. So there it is, folks. Hope you have a great rest of the day.